With warm greetings, I extend my warmest welcome to the talk show Education 4.0 for Safe, Sustainable Societies.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the talk show organized by Samurja Educational Society on the theme Education 4.0 for Safe, Sustainable Societies. We appreciate and applaud everyone, our panelists and participants for the zeal to share and passion to learn with Samurja. Today, on this special day of Ram Navami, we extend our greetings and wishes for everyone. We pray to Goddess Durga to bless us with the strength, courage, and right wisdom to evolve together. Samurja means the sum of creative energies. Here is a small video what Samurja does.
Samurja Educational Society, established in the year 1991, has completed its gratifying journey of 3 decades. The society was conceptualized with the objective of educating children and preparing them to be morally upright and vocationally independent. Ever since its inception, the society has continued to take tiny steps forward, redesigning the educational fabric in all possible ways through various educational activities, besides conducting social outreach programs like the Girl Next Door and the Charity War. Samurja is constantly striving to bring together some of the most united minds in the field of education to introduce change in the educational fabric of the nation by providing educational vision, empowering educators, inspiring learners, and elevating various organizations through training sessions, panel discussions, talk shows, conferences, and symposiums. The Society has also conceptualized and published periodicals and magazines for students and teachers. Samurja continues to explore new domains, trends, and landscapes to enrich the educators across the country by equipping them to resolve the academic challenges in their classroom to make teaching and learning more joyous and engaging. It also helps educators realize their vision and collaborate with national and international educators to have sustainable societies and a happy nation, thus redefining the paradigms of Indian education. Jai Hind, Namaskar.
In the previous session, our resource person, Mrs. Rachana Pant, shared with us the ways of communication for collaboration. The 8th schedule of the Indian Constitution has listed the official languages of the Republic of India. In the year 1950, there were 14 official languages listed in the Constitution. According to consensus about languages spoken in India, in the year 2011 by the Government of India, there has been 121 major languages, 270 mother tongues, where it is being considered that a language which is spoken by at least 10,000 people. They categorize it as mother tongue. And 1,599 other languages, out of which 22 languages are specified in the 8th schedule of Constitution of India. However, the figure about the languages varies from the other sources, primarily due to the differences in the definition of the term language, dialect, and the lingua franca. By the way, there are 615 million speakers of Hindi, whereas native speakers are 341 million and rest are the non-native speakers. Hindi, along with English, is one of the 22 official languages of India. Although there are currently more than 7,000 languages spoken across the globe, only 23 languages cover more than half of the world's population. There are 1,132, I'm sorry, the figure is 1.132 million speakers of English language, whereas the native speakers are just 379 million. That means the non-native speakers of English language are double than the native speakers. Like Latin and Greek, way back in the olden days, today, English is a universal language. ELT is the abbreviation for English language teaching for the people whose first language is not English. Another strange observation in India is that the people prefer the medium of instruction as English for their learning instead of their native language. Maybe it is because English is the default language in international business, tourism, technology, and research, etc. Today, to understand the nuances of ELT, we have with us a dynamic school leader who has a complete grip over the second language, Ms. Hemal Handu Bhat. May I request our guest to kindly extend the verbal greeting. Hemal, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, Dr. Mukta. Thank you so much for bringing me on this platform.
Welcome. Welcome to the show. I request Monica, ma'am, to please welcome and introduce our guest with a musical note. Once again, welcome, ma'am. Today, we do not have our mentors, Dr. Ashok Pandey, Director, Elcon Group of Schools, a well-known leader, and Dr. Rajesh Hasija, who is down with viral, unfortunately, but their blessings are always, always with us. Without further delay, I'll request Hemal ma'am to kindly proceed and please share with us that we are talking ELT, whereas in most of the homes, especially in the metros, we feel that sometimes we feel that English is the first language. Still, there are so much to learn. Over to Hemal ma'am for the insight.
Thank you so much, Dr. Mukta, and thank you, Sam Urja, for bringing me over here. And I'm really looking forward to this. That was indeed a wonderful, I don't know how you managed to pick up all these details over there, and you showcased it in a beautiful video form. I congratulate the team who has put in that effort over there, because I totally understand it needs a lot of research. And one of the pedagogies that I'll be talking about is an inquiry-based approach, wherein you go around, inquiring who is she and what has she done in this whole thing. Thank you so much.
Credit goes to Kriti.
Yes, congratulate your team. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you so much.
Over to ma'am.
Welcome to this session today on ELT. We'll talk about content. We'll talk about pedagogies being used, especially in the virtual learning mode. We'll also talk about a little about the assessment to make sure there is a clear thought on that, especially when it comes to grade 9 to 12 and CBSE's way of going about it.
Yeah.
This year it is going to be slightly different. The assessment format is also a little different, if you're already aware, but I thought I should share with you some examples that we have been putting into practice in the virtual platform. So language is the roadmap, and it's right there before you what Rita ma'am says. Not ma'am, I mean, I put it in very brief, Rita may. So language is a tool we all have to accept, and I can see some of you are already teaching the language over here. English language especially, helps us to express our feelings. It helps us to express our thoughts. And obviously it goes without saying that it plays a very important role in the development of anybody's or a person's personality. And aren't we all working towards that, grooming the children's personality? So the English language for us is not because we are teaching it, you are learning it. It's also from another perspective. See, we must not forget this language is, it's unique, English, because it's a connecting link between most of the languages, not just in India, but also all over the world. So learning the language fascinates, it gives you lots of opportunities. You can go and you can practice while listening. It could be speaking, reading, writing. Obviously, we've been doing it. All this, when they are able to express and with confidence, is what actually matters. So this language, the English language, a funny language, we walk English, we talk English, we speak English, we smile English every day, and it is a part of our system right now, and we cannot but accept it as a part of our system because it helps us when we need it the most. So it's a global language. Let's accept that. The first thing that we have to do when we acceptance of the fact that it is a language which we need to understand if we need to have spoken English. It's a language we need to be able to read and write, because how will you manage otherwise? Any other subject, be it physics, be it chemistry, be it mathematics, how would you be able to even attempt a question if it wasn't for your ability to understand the way it has been framed in the English language? Just imagine having to, talk about the paperas and the whole thing, if it is asked a question in science, I can't even think of the complexity of the question. So you will need an English language. So knowing this language means you are able to also build a lot of other relationships economically. Let's see how our Prime Minister is doing it. Friendships across the world, across the states, even in India, if you see, if I have to reach out to Kerala, this is the only linked language that I have. They might not know much about Hindi, and I wouldn't know much of Malayalam, except for the first few sentences of, reaching out to them. We also learn, through this language, we learn to write correct English. We learn to develop our listening skills. We learn to develop our speaking skills, reading, writing, everything. Everything we will learn to do this. And that's why it is important for us to improve the quality of life. You need to have English. Whether some of you accept this or not, Hindi has its own position, and I cannot do without Hindi as well. But English also needs to be learned. And why would otherwise people send you to an English medium school? Because of this reason, because they know this has an outreach, you will get job opportunities, career options. And that's why we need to learn this language. But then, some people ask, theek hai, but why learn English? I mean, is it that important? See, bhai, it is a very simple thing. I'm going to be bilingual. That's what NEP tells me to do till a particular level. But I will speak in English all through today. See, we all know that we are staying, living in a, shall I say, multilingual world. And, with this kind of a globalization, it is very important to know more than one language. Hindi we know our mother tongue as well, but by knowing one good language of linking and communication, it would definitely give you a push to your career. You will gain, I was just mentioning how you'll be able to know about other cultures, how it will increase your understanding towards languages, the knowledge. In today's era, it is virtually mandatory to, at least learn 3 to 4 languages. One is a foreign language, one is a mother tongue, one is Hindi, and one is English. These are the basic 4 languages. So you're already a polyglot on that. Try to acquire language acquisition is excellent if you can speak more than 1 language. So then what does it help? How does it help? Emotional development. So let's not forget, I am doing these basics. You will say, why is she telling all this? First of all, I'll make sure that you understand why the whole content of our English is based, English language and literature in our schools. Why are we giving so much of time and importance and focus on it? It's because they develop many other skills. And that's why it is important. Emotional development. It's how do you express your emotions? Anything you explore, the whole world of emotions, So this is how you need to work on the emotions. It helps you develop that. Then you come to intellectual development. This is about how we as individuals, will organize, your thoughts, your ideas, whatever is there in your mind. And then you have to make sense of the world that they live in. So intellectual development is also very important, and it also includes communication here. Then let us talk about social development. In the pandemic, you can totally understand what has happened to social development and socialization. It involves different relationships of child with a number of people. It could be within the family, outside the family, in the community, in the neighborhood. And it is very important. I want to quote Chomsky here, wherein he said in the year, I do not know, 1970s, maybe 75, 76, not exactly sure. Children are pre-programmed, and they have an innate ability to acquire language. So even the infant and the young child, they need appropriate language models. So how will it be possible unless you speak for them? So they will have to be spoken to in the appropriate language you want them to develop. So that's how you will get a constant feedback also. Then what are the reasons? It's a vehicle of thought. I think that's very clear. It's subvocal speech. So we think through the language. You may translate it into Hindi later, but you think in English. Only then you can really put it down well in English. So then you have another point where it's a medium of expression. I already told you, we express our feelings, our experiences, everything through this. And let's not forget that it is the base of every education. As I mentioned just now, any subject has to have a base of English. They are able to take it forward. Once it is predominantly, reading or writing or whether it's arithmetic, mathematics, the language proficiency has to be there to make sure that you are getting the outcomes. If you frame the question wrong or incorrectly in English, believe me, you will get an incorrect answer. So we have to be very careful about how we do it. It's a medium of literature. I think the maximum literature is in English. And I think children learn a lot through literature from this medium. If you read literature, you understand and appreciate the work of great people, great poets, great writers. It is important for us. I will only give you 2 more. It is a medium of communication. I think I told you it is for every country also we communicate. And the last one from which I began also is grooming one's personality. All these are very important for all of us. Let me come to the content without wasting much time. Some of the changes that we have in the CBSE pattern in English for this session 21-22, very important for us. The division of syllabus, as you know, has been divided into 2 terms. Now you know there is a semester system in the school, okay? But the topics of term 1, as you are aware, will not be repeated when you are conducting term 2 assessment. And there is a reduction of syllabus by 30%. Please remember, this is for this session only. So don't say ki Himal ma'am had said there is a reduction of 30%. And if Mukta ma'am puts up this in the YouTube and they see it next year and they'll say, oh, Himal ma'am on YouTube said on Sai Murja that there is a reduction in 30%. But then they forget this. I'm saying for the year session 2021-22 only. So grammar is only for grade 10th and grade 11th. And writing skills is what you will have being assessed on grade 10, that's the board class, and grade 12, that's again the board class. The pattern of questions in term 1 as you are aware, are totally MCQ based, multiple choice questions. The questions in term 2 will probably, I have not added there, will probably be subjective depending on the situation of the pandemic, the corona, how well we can manage that, whether they'll do an offline exam or not. But one thing is clear, it will most probably be in the subjective format. So children who are preparing now for the first term, in which I guess you have already got an inclination that the exams or the first assessment of the midterm will begin somewhere in the mid of November. So you will get details about it for the circular. So what do I do for pedagogy? Have you heard of the 2C, 2I and 1R? No? I put this because it is easy to remember. Very easy to remember. Now, this is what we are using in our school, Hansraj Model School, Punjabi Bagh. See, there are so many types of pedagogies. Let me talk about the 2C. This is an equation. The 2Cs, the first is the constructivist approach that we'll be doing. And I'll give you examples of all these. Sometimes there'll be more than one approach in one activity that we do in the class related to the lesson. Then you have the collaborative one, which we have been doing, but we still continue to do it a lot. And I'm talking about the virtual platform that is the online learning. Then you have 2Is. 2Is are the integrating approach, okay, integrating it with the other subjects. And then you have the inquiry-based learning. Everything is going to get more research-based, you know, where you'll be asking questions. I'll be going into all the details. Let me just tell you about this. So some people might not understand the first one, as I have understood from many sessions. What is a constructivist approach? What does it talk about? See, this theory of constructivism, it's easy to remember if you remember the origin construct. It says that learners usually they construct their own knowledge rather than passively take in the information. So what happens in the class usually is they are just listening to the teacher for quite some time if it's a traditional approach, but they don't speak much. They don't, use the information and knowledge that they have, acquired in the class. They are just passive listeners. They take it in and experience the world, and then they reflect upon these experiences, and then they build their own or incorporate their own thoughts into the knowledge that they have been given in the class by the teacher. That is a constructivist approach. Easy to remember. Construct your own thoughts based on what you have gained in the class. Second, collaborative. I'm not elaborating. Collaborative and elaborative, it's quite clear. The third is integrative. I think when you talk about an integrated approach, which is happening now in most of our schools, is where the learner brings, it brings a lot of other prior knowledge that you have about a topic and the experiences. When you support those experiences and knowledge with the skills, and you can apply it at a more complex level in another subject. So I could take up, so if I have collaborated with Sikkim as my, sister concern or state on which we are working, as most of the people in Delhi would be doing. So then I would be writing and doing an integrated approach, maybe in social sciences, wherein I will take in something, maybe culturally, I will take up the dances or maybe the best things that are, produced in that state. So you can have an integrated approach over there. And then obviously, as the word itself says, inquiry-based learning. Okay, when I'm talking about inquiry-based learning, as the word says, it's a student-centered approach. Okay, questions. Whatever you want to clarify, you ask questions, you pose questions, teacher poses, you pose. So the methods are designed, and everything that we share, whatever data, information that we share, it is interpreted by the students. You know what interpreting means? That means you're analyzing it. You are thinking again about it. You are actively discovering the information, and then you're supporting it with your investigation or whatever research you have done. So it's an inquiry based. And then I think you've all heard about the reflective part. See, the reflective part is very important for teachers and students. You need to think about what you're doing, whether what you have acquired is the right way, whether it could be better. Suppose I've made a project today on English. I mean, I want to reflect on it and seeing, have I done the right thing? Maybe I could have done this like this. Maybe ma'am would have given me more marks. Similarly for the teacher, did I teach, tiger in the zoo? I did not get too many responses from section C. Could I have done it in a different manner? Could I have got better responses from the students in that class? So you start thinking that way. That's how it works in a reflective manner. Now, this is the pedagogy we have been using, but now I'll share with you some examples of the pedagogy that we have used in the classroom. For example, we are making the class very interactive. Now, I'll keep reminding you again and again that we are talking right now, today, keeping the pandemic situation in mind, wherein we are all within our own homes and we are having a virtual class. Still, we are on a remote learning mode. So even there, you can have a lot of interactive sessions over there. So teaching through question paper patterns so that, students have a thorough clarity. And of course, because now it is MCQs, now it is not yes or no, none of the above, all of the above. This is not how the MCQs are. Now they are checking you on your remembering. They are checking you on your understanding. They are checking you on your application, your analysis, your evaluation. All these things, skills are being checked. So from lots, that is lower order thinking skills, to HOTS is what we are checking the students on. So all of you must be attending a lot of MCQ, how to frame MCQs workshops, because I know my colleagues have been doing a lot of that. And so that they are prepared, and they make the children also prepared in the class. We use a lot of PowerPoint presentations because visually it becomes easy for them to understand and see and understand, and it is more effective, as we have realized. Vocabulary we need to stress upon because these children have absolutely no idea of how to use the language now, because they are not using any writing material. It is all MCQ based. If they come to a subjective paper, they might not have the right vocabulary at that point of time, and they won't probably get so many chances to practice that. If you have been doing it in your classes, excellent, but then you have to be careful that you stress upon it as well, the appropriate vocabulary. Teaching should be based on, answering questions. It could be any of these I just mentioned, and we follow the coder. Now, I have realized again that coder is not very simple to everybody. I thought we should tell them what it means. See, when we talk about coder, it's the process, of cultivating good writing skills, because they are the ones that fetch you the maximum marks, as every child is worried about that. So the full form of coder is like this. I've put it on the slide. C stands for collecting information regarding your topic, whatever you have chosen. It could be related to any writing skill. It depends on that. The O stands for organizing all your content that you have collected. And then you go to the D. The D is the drafting, a rough draft. Okay, a rough draft of what you want to put on paper. And then you edit your own drafted content. And the last one is the redrafting your content or rechecking your content and minimizing it, because our children have not learned to be brief. Brevity is something that is lacking even in grade 12 students. And that will happen only because of the last part, that is R. Now, when I talk about coder, why do you think I mentioned it here today? Because this is a skill that they need to learn for the future as well. Wherever they go, wherever they are working, this will help them in every phase of life, whether they are working in an MNC, whether they are doing research, whether they are studying further for higher studies. Coder will always help you. You will get more creative, you'll get more ideas, and this will definitely help you in the future. So understand coder very well. I want to stress on one area that happened during the pandemic, and that is independent learning. That is self-directed learning. They have become more independent. Okay. They were totally being, shall I say, almost, spoon-fed because they were so well looked after. Now at home, they hardly have choice. Mummy is working, Papa is working, grandparents are in their own routines. So there is more self-regulation of their own learning that is happening. But why are we talking about it here? You might have to be in this kind of a situation of hybrid learning for the next few years. It is here to stay. Learning on a hybrid mode is here to stay. So it's a method of learning process where all the learners will take their ownership for whatever they are learning and whatever they have missed. So they cannot blame it on, oh, Mukta ma'am didn't teach me, or Monica ma'am forgot to teach me. No, you are sitting at home and doing, and we have a recording of that now. What will you do? So learn by their own actions. They have to be accountable for that. They need to direct, they need to regulate, assess their own learning from time to time. They will also in this mode learn to set goals. They will learn to make choices. They will learn to take decisions. They will have to learn these things. Aren't we teaching these in the life skills that we keep teaching to them? They need to meet their own learning needs. Ma'am, I'm not able to do it this way. Can I do it? Yes. You find a way out for your own self. Take responsibility for doing whatever you're doing. Carrying out your own learning. That's why I wanted to talk about independent learning. Because in the whole process also, they will monitor their own progress towards achieving whatever goals they had set for themselves. And the learning outcomes will finally, because we keep having a lot of assessments, small little assessments that we keep doing, so they can self-assess themselves at that point of time. Oh, ma'am, I had 20 questions, but I think I have not been able to do 2 correctly or 4 correctly. Self-assess before even the teacher gives you an idea about how you scored. So independent learning is here to stay, and it will help the children to manage on their own. And it is a beautiful way of engaging children with the right tools. Now, I'm going to talk about the different pedagogies that we have incorporated in the remote learning sessions for teaching English in our school at Hansraj Model School, Punjabi Bagh, Delhi. Now, what was the importance? Why do we even need to have these kind of online tools? Aren't we going to have offline classes in a few days? Yes. But as I believe, if I can see, it is here to stay. There will always be some people and students and stakeholders who will insist on a hybrid mode. So you will always have online. So why do we need to do it? Because it's a welcome situation, diversion for them, They prefer to do this, if it is games or something, they can make it online itself and, send you the assignments. They're very happy about it. It lowers the students' level of stress because this is something, being digital natives, they are very comfortable with. Their anxiety, it's more like a game for them. I'll show you how they made it. It is amazing to see their work. And it helps them to remember things much more easier it is for them than, asking, write me a paragraph and do the format on your notebook and show me the notebook in the classroom. This is a better way of going about it. And if you see the different levels, grades that we are teaching, they find it more entertaining. They find it more motivating. And it breaks the ice between the teacher and the student, because the beloved madam is always doing the Purana style of teaching, traditional method. She's still asking us to do this. Well, we found another way out for you all, and here it is. So, and all the students who really don't get a chance to respond in the class, they are those passive listeners, dominated sometimes by, very responsive learners. These children never get a chance. And this is where they are able to express themselves in the desired language before the others. So make the students revise English language elements that they have acquired during your teaching through these kind of tools. Let me share with you. The first one, I'll just take an example from which lesson. For example, those who are here from grades 9 to 12, you would understand keeping quiet. And we made them do a Wordle. How do I make them understand the right vocabulary they need to use when they're doing subjective writing? This is how they made a Wordle. Look at some of the others. If you thought this is simple, you see the way they have come out with these. I'll give you another two because I couldn't resist but share these things with you. This is from enemy lesson. I'm sure you can you can understand Dr. Sada. And of course, the lesson that is on my right hand side is should wizard hit mommy? And see, we always think, it should be square or it should be circular. No, they went on. When we are talking about wizard, we are thinking in a different manner. See how this child has made this? Beautifully done. And the child went on to use a Wordle even for drafting posters. You have this in your syllabus. They went on to draft this. That's how we use the constructivist approach here. Okay. And here we also had a collaborative work in some of them, wherein 2 people did it together. We integrated other things and learning into the exercise of English. I'll give you more examples of that as well. So when they're doing this, remember there is an inquiry-based learning that is already happening. without which they will not be able to do it. They'll have to read and understand and ask questions, ma'am, like this, can we do this? Yes. Let me take another example. See, first of all, let me tell you, Wordle, you have a lot of apps that are over there. It's a visual depiction. You know, it's very easy to do it. It looks so beautiful and you feel good about having created an artistic piece. So it is contained in a piece as a text. So this is one on based on this thing. Now I'm going to, you probably have heard of crossword puzzles, nothing, no big deal. Huh? So you know what is a crossword puzzle. So we used it for a lesson and you can see it's glimpses of India. And this is an integrated approach here for you easily. Okay. But you see, this is a collaborative effort. So there were 4 children who put it together, but Ishita has finally framed the across and the down, all the clues that has been done. And this is individual effort over here, but it was also a collaborative effort. So I want to tell you that this is how they find it more interesting. Forming words, you know, phrases by solving clues is something they will remember in the exam also. They will never forget when they do it this way. And it feels like a game, doesn't it? And games, you know, it's always fun for them. Now, what we did was we used comic strips. And this is with reference, both the examples that you have here are from Tiger in the Zoo. So comic strips are a beautiful sequence of drawings, you know, in boxes that tell you a story, you know, in an amazing manner. And children enjoy doing it because they are so good at this, they can make it. Again, there are a lot of apps that give you these options and how you want to do. So I give you one that is from an app that you can find using technology. But on the right-hand side, if you see, that is made by the student. It is his own artistic presentation. He did not use a digital content. He used his own artistic, whatever little, just whatever, you know, he could manage to do in represent. I think it was an excellent job. So I shared it with you over here. I don't know how many of you have heard of Flipgrid. I don't know if you have heard of Flipgrid, but I thought I should just share at least one example of Flipgrid here. Now, when you talk about Flipgrid, it's an online tool again, easily accessible. If you're doing Teams, very easy. Okay, so it allows you all to create and you can share your own recordings with the classmates. Suppose it is in a group or in a class, depending on the topic that has been given. Now, why did we use Flipgrid? Because of the outcomes. You see the outcomes, the sharing. You share book reviews with everyone over there. Ma'am gives you 4, so you have teams. You share your book reviews. You can also invite outside speakers on the Flipgrid mode. You know, that's an option that is there. And you're building, you know, compilation of different, you know, videos. When you're making it, you can mix it for more than one. So that is a very beautiful way they like to work. This is all about technology, sharing. And then when they share, they celebrate whatever they do. There is a celebration of their work. Now, isn't that a beautiful thing? When do we do that in the class? Sharing and celebrating your own work. Homework mil gaya, you're happy, you get your whatever grade you get out of that and you're done with it. But here you celebrate. Arey, how did you do this? Why did you do this? From which app? So there's a lot of sharing that happens. And I think that kind of interaction, that kind of interest in the students, we need to build. Let me just share a few links over here. Obviously, we won't have time to click on all of them. So I'm just sharing the links that the students have put in over here. I'll go to the next one. The next pedagogy that we used was mind maps. No big deal, you will say, but use mind maps. You can do it both. Again, you can use technology as well as you can draw it yourself. Now, this is a mind map that is based on the story Madam Rides the Bus. I'm sure you will all understand. So it's a graphical presentation. Okay. You will, it's a visual, you know, tool that will help you structure whatever information you have, where, who, what, and then you can, you know, make like he has made. You can even think about what to add. You can recall easily. You can generate new ideas. And if you'll see there, there is an AJ, that is the presentation of her mind map in the class in a virtual mode. But she drew it herself, she made it herself, and then she has shared it over here. So what can we use it for? Now, why do I mention all this is it will help you in most of the skills that we are supposed to teach them in these grades. Note taking is there, you know it is there, problem solving, brainstorming, researching. So you see all these approaches that I talked to you about, the pedagogies that we use in the class, it is going to be used here. And it will all move away from what NEP 2020 says. Outcomes, it will enable meaningful learning. You can be, retention is much longer. You don't have to rote learn it. You will remember it because you're doing it. You will remember it. It will engage the learners and very effectively, and it will make very complex things of the class or in the lesson, it will be easier to understand by making these mind maps. It will ignite your creativity. You will think of new ways of doing it. And obviously, it will a lot of flexibility in the usage. I'm going to another, I don't know whether you have heard of this, lap books, it's called, or you can even call it flap books. Now, these are educational scrap books. Okay, they fit into a, it is supposed to say it fits into your lap. So it's called a lap book. And it has flaps because it can be folded either longitudinally, horizontally, or circular. It's on your creativity. It depends on your creativity, how you want to do it. So simply a file folder, it contains mini books. You can have a lot of things happening by just folding it in. And very creative you can be over there. Foldables, as you would like to call. So the central topic can be taken here. Lots of children came up with some amazing lab books, and I'm sorry, I'm sharing a few examples. And the outcomes are there. There are a lot of outcomes even from the lab books. You can see a few examples that I'm sharing here. And then the flap books. We integrated this. So we had an integrated approach about Odisha as well. So we mixed both of them. You have a hidden word puzzle. Again, you will say, what's the big deal? But when you have to make it, that's the big deal. And when you have to do it technologically, using technology, that's where it comes. But believe me, these children enjoyed. So we took the road not taken and we used the hidden word puzzle. When you give it to the children in the class, can you imagine their excitement, their interest? See, this is the pedagogy we need to use in an online mode right now. I am not saying that you will not, or you may not use it later on. What I'm saying is you should have such things in the classroom. This is what will generate the right attention and it will engage the students in the right manner. And believe me, the outcomes will come much faster than any other. Some of you might have heard of Padlet. We use a lot of Padlet. I myself personally in my meetings use a lot of Padlet. Okay, and it's an online tool. It's simple to use. If you have an account made, you just have to do it. It's free. So it's absolutely easy to do it. You can put in your thoughts, and I'll give you an example what was done in the class also. It was based on a lesson. The best part is everybody puts in their thoughts and it is there for everybody to see. It is visible. It's a digital sheet. And you can all see it over there. So we did this for We Are Not Afraid to Die. And I put in a question that what was your learning from this lesson after the lesson was there? And I wanted everybody to see what the others have posted. And I told them not to repeat. Try not to repeat what the other has said because it is there. But if it is done, because sometimes you're simultaneously typing on it, it's possible that there might be a little repetition, but they have avoided as much as possible. So what are some of the outcomes of Padlet? Why should we encourage this? See, first of all, it's a very innovative platform to share the thoughts. It's focusing on creativity and it also enhances your expression. If you see the language, everybody has said maybe almost some similar things, but the vocabulary is different. And when you see it on the screen, there is a healthy competition happening right there before you. You are allowed to explore your own thoughts and you're thinking and you're analyzing. When I say, what is your learning from the lesson? So obviously there is analysis happening and that's how you are able to put it there on the screen. Podcast. I started when I myself was asked to, make podcast on a few lessons by CBSE. And I said, why not use this for my school? This was way back when the lockdown happened and no teaching was happening. Within a week, CBSE said, can you just give it to me 2 days? I said, sir, fine, I'll do it. So we made a podcast on each and every lesson so that sitting at home at your own convenience, all you have to do is put in an earphone or a headphone and listen to the whole lesson. And there is a discussion, there are questions, then, that makes you think and you will refer to the lesson if you have it in front of you. So a podcast can be repeated. If you have not understood something, okay, let me go back to, the timing number 4.37 seconds. That's where she talked about da-da. That's how it makes it interesting, a podcast. And I am very happy to share with you that when we introduced this podcast, the online tool with the students were thrilled. So we have a lot of podcasts made by the students. And outcomes are obviously it's convenient, easy to consume, and it is portable. You can carry it to one room to another room. And if you are not wanting to allow others, while watching this program also, you might have a podcast in your ears. You never know. Our children are tasking also. So one way to deliver a social networking strategy to the children, and they feel good and it's easy to learn. This is a podcast. These are all links of the podcast of the students, made by the students. All these are made by the children only. So I'm sharing just a few related to the topics that we had given them. Okay, coming to the last quotient of my today's session is on assessment. Let me talk about term 1, because still even CBSE is going slow on that as to what will happen for the term 2. They will probably wait and watch and see how it goes, and probably, obviously, we can understand that totally. So there will be, in the first term for grade 11 and 12, I'm discussing first. I'll discuss with the other also with you. MCQ based assessment, get clear on that. 60 questions, only 50 to be attempted, but marks will be out of 40. Marks will be out of 40. So basically, if you calculate, it is 0.8 marks for each question. So you'll have 60, you have to attempt only 50. They give you so much choice, and well, you're spoiled for choice. What will you do when the pandemic is over? And no negative marking. I don't know why we are even talking about negative. What's the big deal? There should never be any negative marking, I guess. There should never be anything negative about anything here in education. Why do they even mark negatively? And then 10 marks for internal assessment, ALS. ASL has become ALS. I'll talk to you briefly about it if time permits towards the end. That is assessment of listening and speaking. How will the pattern of question paper be? Well, it's right there before you, and do go to the CBSE website. It is also there, though it is a very much in detail. So sometimes maybe it's confusing, but those who are teaching the subject, I'm sure you will understand. So you will have 30 questions in literature. Okay. You have to answer only 26. Isn't that good? Dekhte hain what happens, whether it is good or a bad way of going about it. Reading section, you have to do only, you have choice. You are spoiled for choice. Now, what will happen is the parents will also have to give to choice. Beta, do you want this dress or this dress? You may choose one of them. Beta, I have given you 3 options. You can choose any 2 dresses. Oh my God, it's going to be tough on us. But right now, because of the situation, you have to solve only 8 questions out of 10 MCQs that have been given in the comprehension passage. So you will have a factual comprehension, you will have a descriptive comprehension, okay? And in the question number 2, you will have either, I have already given you case-based passages for comprehension. You have to pick up any 6 out of the MCQs that are given, which will be 8 in number. Simple, I've put it in a tabular column, simple. You can click away to glory. And anyway, Dr. Mukta is going to put it on the YouTube for you to always refer to कि मैम ने ये बोला था, अब ये गलत है तो माफ कर देना, गलती सबसे होती है. I happen to be a human being and not a robo. Thank you so much for that. Then writing skills. Short writing skills, it is very clearly mentioned to you that I have told you earlier that there is no grammar in class 12. You please see the question paper is for class 12. No grammar in class 12. So don't say, I thought, don't think now. It is there for you. Put right out there. So short writing skills, you have to do any 4 out of 5 MCQs because this is term 1. So it's an MCQ. So don't think they will ask you simple questions. So what is the format? The way you address in the writing a letter to the editor is, dear sir, respected sir, my dear respected sir. Essay questions will not come. Let me tell you. They will make you think. Any question that comes will be making you think. So make sure that you are not too relaxed about the subject. Everything will be working according to the Bloom's taxonomy. Please, I request the teachers, if they have not done a course or a small little session on how to frame MCQ questions, they should. Otherwise, please, find out from people who have done it and maybe take their questions and, share with the children how these questions will be asked. Long writing skills, again, only 6 out of 7. Similarly, question number 5 to 6, 7, and 8, which are all based on literature. Okay. And 9 is a standalone MCQ from literature for 10 good marks. Okay. 6 from Flamingo and 4 from the Vistas. Okay. Clear on that. This is for grade 11, the questions. Okay. And I've put it exactly as I said. So you have 25 questions in all, and you have to attempt 22 questions, especially out of the literature section, which is already there. You can click up a picture of this so you will understand. I want to give a little time for the questions. Okay. Then grade 9 and grade 10 as well. I'm just discussing the pattern of the question paper, so that if there are some teachers who are actually teaching at this level as well, I would like you to actually go through these as well. Then you have internal assessment, which I was mentioning to you, that is the assessment of listening and speaking. For term 1, I have not yet talked about term 2. It is for 10 marks. Okay. Now see the marking for 12, C for 11, C for 10, and then 9. In grade 12, for term 1, you will be basically planning a portfolio. I think you know now that there is a portfolio, a project in which there is a collaborative approach of 5 children. And I'll just tell you how it is done. Many of us in our schools have already been told how to go about this. And I must congratulate all the DAV schools of the whole country who have gone through this workshop, in which, they have already been tutored how to do it in detail. So that is the best part of the DAV organization. In grade 11, assessment of listening skills will be there. Okay, in the first term. In grade 10, you will have periodic tests. This is how you will be marked. Okay. So 3 marks there. Enrichment activity depends on your school, what they have taken up. Only 3 marks for that. Multiple assessments will carry 2, and the portfolio will have 2. Yes, you have to make a portfolio, and yes, it carries only 2 marks. But then your efforts will help you in the long run. And for grade 9, assessment of listening skills will be conducted in term 1. Let me make it very clear. Now, why do we need to do this? There are some changes that have been made, okay, to the ALS, that is assessment of listening and speaking. And it will help you all, enhance your communication. It will help you in your coordination, your cooperative skills. Teamwork will happen a lot because that's how it has been designed. Okay, that's how it has been designed. It's a portfolio now, a project. It's not individual. So you can't do speaking, individually. If then it's more like here, what I'm doing. So that's not what's going to be happening over there. So what to include in the project? So that question will definitely come if I don't answer it. What is supposed to be included in the project? Very simply, I'm putting it. It is almost a 35 to 36 project, just like in the science classes in the lab, you have these, shall I say, their files that are prepared, with the title page, the student details, the school details, how it is done. First page has to be like this. Second page should be a table of contents. The third should be a certificate of completion. And, there you have to leave space for the guidance of teacher. Then acknowledgements to the principal, whether you like it or not, you have to give it to the principal, and that makes me feel good anyway. And then you have to give to the teacher who has tutored you, mentored you, your teammates, if they have been involved, because it's a project. I told you it's a team project. And then your parents, if you would like to, which you must, if you have learned the right values by grade 12. And of course, if you have interviews whom you interviewed for your assessment of listening and speaking project, then acknowledgement. See, acknowledgement is a skill that you need to learn. Here it is in writing, but otherwise in life, you will need to acknowledge all of these people and many more for the work, wherever they help you, however they help you. So page number 4 is of utmost importance. Learn the language when you use for acknowledgements. Then statement of purpose, the objectives. Your action plan, how you plan to go about it from pages 7 to 9 is what you will use. The materials, any kind of evidence you have, what progress did you make? Where were you when you started? How did you reach there? What was the impact of the whole thing? Then an essay, small little essay of 800 to 1000 words. Now, this is important. Based on this, you may have an assessor or an external or an internal examiner who will ask. The essay cannot be copied. 1000 words is your writing on what you felt, how you went about it, where you faced challenges, how did you deal with it, did your friends cooperate, she did not cooperate, that lady never used to pick up my phone, I had a tough time over there, I did not get materials because there was lockdown. Challenges and how you met them. That is 800 to 1000 words. The reflection sheet is individual. This is very important. 21 to 22, 23 to 30, absolutely important. Then photographs or screenshots, if you have any links, if you have references and bibliography, this you have to learn. If you have copied from somewhere, please give them credit. If you have referred in your inquiry-based learning, please give them credit. You lose nothing, but you're giving credit to from wherever you have taken. If you are copying something that you have taken from my slides, please give me credit. Okay, I give a lot of credit to the teachers, to the DAV management, for helping me understand this, and to my dear friend who made me understand this. The roadmap, which you will be deciding with the help of the teacher, how to go about this, has to be done with the help of the teacher. Please remember, I know you're in grade 12 and you feel now, I am independent. You are independent. You were independent long ago. Don't forget who made you independent. It was your teacher, your mentor, who actually was hand-holding from the beginning. Now you feel you don't need the hand or the finger. But sometime along the way, maybe 5 years from now, you will feel that you were really lucky to have a teacher like the one that you had, who was teaching you English. Many of my students turned out to be professors of English who went on to, take up English, and they dumped their sciences and went on to become teachers and did research in English, because they said, we wanted to be an English teacher like you. So the teacher who teaches English is very important, because she teaches you to understand every other language as well, and other nuances as well. She makes you understand what's happening around you. She helps you to express. If you're not able to express, believe me, you can be nowhere in this world. God bless you, and thank you so much for today's session. Ma'am, you're muted. You're muted. Dr. Mukta, you're muted, please.
Thank you so much. I mean, the passion is oozing from your words. It's absolute delight to listen to you.
Did I go too fast? I was just wondering, did I go too fast?
No, I thoroughly enjoyed, and so do the participants, because I'm having an eye on the chat box. Himal ma'am, there's a question: how can I make classroom textbook reading more entertaining and activity based?
Such a nice question. I'm sure if I give chance to somebody else, they'll answer. How do I make, may I know who has asked this question? I'd love to know who's asked this question.
Anonymous. It's in the Q&A box, anonymous attendee.
Anonymous attendee. Anonymous people. I don't even know who's there across on the other side of this platform. But Mr. and Mrs. or whoever, anonymous, thank you for that question. How can you make it entertaining? I think by using these tools that I shared with you, and many more. I'm not saying these are the only one. You have, a plethora of things over there, and so difficult to choose what should be used. But be very careful in your choice of tools. What I shared with you today is a trial tested over the year, 1.5 years. These are the tools that have worked and that have been very creative, and that have been very interesting for the students, and that have been entertaining, because sometimes you have very funny answers. Okay, let me tell you, we also had these memes being made on a particular lesson. For example, I take the lesson, what was that we did? We are not afraid to die. So in that, we had this very beautiful memes that the children made. They said, "Ma'am, can we do this?" I said, "Why not? Who restricted you? I only gave you a Padlet, okay? That was just to take in a learnings, but you can always make this." So make it interesting. So when you speak their language,
Yes.
they feel happy. That's
Yeah.
when they are interested and engaged in your class. You speak only your language, then there will be no video on also at that time.
Very right. Very right. So, Kriti ma'am, do we have some more questions in the WhatsApp group?
Any
We
other
have,
questions?
because Himal ma'am has conveyed in the beginning, I'll cover all aspects. There will not be any question.
Because I can understand what they would mostly ask, ma'am, because these are the questions usually that are, coming in. So
Ah.
it will be there. It will be there. Anything else?
No, ma'am, no question in the WhatsApp group.
So,
Yeah.
so apt, I mean, so crisply, dot at 5, you have wrapped up. And as you said in the beginning, there will not be any question when I'll wrap up, because I was a little scared. 35 slides is just amazing, ma'am. The passion you have for the language and the way you have conveyed the things, it was so fluid, it was moving. And you said that for the English teacher, but the apps which you have shared, I think any subject teacher can use. And
Yes.
I would
Yes.
also like to share that for this session especially, I have a very lovely friend who has registered. I could see her here in the participant, Paramjeet ma'am, to whom I'll be troubling very shortly in the coming up session. Our IT girl is not here. Can you give the audio video rights to Paramjeet ma'am? Kriti ma'am? And Himal ma'am.
Oh, Paramjeet ma'am. She's from Ludhiana, is it? Chandigarh, COE.
Yes. If it's possible, our
Yes,
IT
ma'am,
girl,
give it.
Paramjeet ma'am, would like to have you on the screen, the panelist, right? I think audio video rights are given to her.
Yes, ma'am.
Hello.
Hello, ma'am. Good evening.
Hi.
So good to see you here.
I think there cannot be a
I'm
better
from
award,
Jalandhar, you know.
the acknowledgement than this.
Jalandhar, right.
Ma'am,
Yeah, COE Chandigarh only. And
Yes.
delighted to be there. You know, I'm so happy. Let me see from where I switch on the video. I find the audio only. Never mind. Okay, anyways, Hemal ma'am, it was very good. I did click some screenshots, especially at the end, because I just wanted to share it with my teachers, and I thought I must actually check it, whether we had this examination for 9th and 12th, whether we actually done it, because though you just tell them that you have to write down it is as per CBSE norms, but many a times, you actually do have to do a little more hand holding when there's so much of change which is happening in CBSE. So I'm sure
we will be sharing the YouTube link on this WhatsApp group, and you can always share it with your teacher as and when they require, they can flip it on. Thank you, Paramjeet ma'am, for coming here and being here all through. I think there cannot be a better reward for Samurja. And
look at that.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Paramjeet ma'am. All good things, they have to wrap up in time. This is the time for the vote of thanks. Over to Kriti for the formal vote of thanks, please.
Thank you, ma'am. Good evening, everyone. On behalf of Samurja Educational Society, I, Kriti Kapoor, would like to remark a proficient sense of gratefulness to respected Himal ma'am for sharing with us some of the finest skills. All the participants of this talk show, including our team, all are inspired by your highly sparkling words. I'm sure that all the participants have taken notes and will be sharing within their organizations. Also, I would like to thank the Vice President of Samurja Educational Society, Dr. Mukta Mishra ma'am, for her full-fledged efforts. A special thanks to Samurja Educational team for working round the clock for success of every episode. I am thankful to all the participants for coming live and attending this episode. Once again, thanks a lot, everyone. Namaskar.
I have one last sentence to say before I leave the platform today. whatever I have been able to do, believe me, this is being carried out by the teachers themselves. I'm just representing them here. And it is their work that I have showcased. It is the work of the students. So whether the teachers are here or not, and whether the other teachers from the school are here, I would like to tell you, when a head of the school talks about and shares her experiences, it is basically showcasing your work. So I am really grateful to them for having taken this challenge in the pandemic of reaching out to the children and adjusting their ghar ka kaam and managing to reach to the children. It has not been easy. They have been Corona warriors without having got the honor. But you don't need an honor. You will get it, ma'am. So you will anyway get it. You are an excellent teacher. You will remain one. If not today, you will get the award tomorrow. God bless you all.
That is your graciousness. So nice, Himal. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Ma'am.
Truly in depth.